Hello Aquarius, welcome to your July 2024 reading using the tarot. I will be looking back at what's been going on for you since the beginning of the month or so, and we will look beyond the month of July into the beginning of August too. The month of July will have started with Pluto, planet of transformation, upheaval, evolution, and deep and intense, profound inner work comes up with Pluto. There it is, right here at the bottom of the deck. You couldn't make it up. Pluto is retrograde in the sign of Aquarius. The Judgment card, represented by Pluto in the tarot, is all about a huge transformation and cyclical and meaningful evolution of your consciousness. So as the retrograde of Pluto happens, you're going inward, you're going backwards, so to speak, and kind of asking yourself those deep and probing questions. Why am I here? What am I afraid of? What's holding me back? Where am I stuck? What are my regrets, you know? What is it all about? Really going deep on an inward journey at the moment, Aquarius. That's a period of time that's lasting throughout the end of the year, like through the rest of 2024. So perhaps July or even August will have pockets of other events happening. I'm sure that will be the case. Let's see what else is going on. Queen of Pentacles. Well, you're thriving at the moment. You're in a really good place. Mind, body, soul. Very healthy energy around the sign of Aquarius. Five of Cups. All right, able to process some heavier emotions because of this central pillar of integrity you find yourself in. We do have the Devil, so I'm getting strong Capricorn energy around you at the moment as well. Three of Wands. Now, if you are not dealing with the Capricorn at the moment, you could be dealing with Capricorn archetypes such as industry, industrious, hardworking, resourcefulness, making money, building an empire, strategizing, conserving, planning, all of those things. It doesn't necessarily have to just be with a Capricorn. We have the Hermit, the Ace of Pentacles. A really beautiful golden opportunity is awaiting you at the moment, and you might already know what this is about. The Hanged Man, the Four of Pentacles, and there we go, Pluto to end the reading. So this card of transformation really wants to make itself seen in this reading for you, and so does the transit of Pluto stationing retrograde and being retrograde in your sign at the moment. So it seems like you are going through a life overhaul on some level. There is a rebirth taking place here, and I don't say the death part because it doesn't seem to be a death cycle at the moment. That probably has passed, and some of you are still grieving the old you, or grieving a loss of some sort, or just processing now what that was all about. Sometimes when we have left a death cycle and are looking like we're very much in the rebirth period here for you, but sometimes it can take a little bit of time for us to catch up with ourselves and process the emotions and really kind of take a step back and say like, oh my gosh, that was a wild ride, or I'm so happy I'm freed for that, or I'm so happy that that worked out okay, and kind of just allow yourself time to feel the emotional weight of what came up on that journey, you know. But it does seem like you are entering, and August will be certainly a month of continual transformation. If not, you're preparing in July. The Hermit card is all about preparation, inner work, going within, seeking answers within, like harnessing inner wisdom and shining a light on the darker corners of your psyche perhaps, or the like little nooks and crannies almost that are longing to be seen by you consciously. And that's very Pluto retrograde energy. You know, what am I running from? What have I been hiding from? Is there any parts of myself that I'm denying? Is there anything that I'm refusing to bear witness to at this time? And it seems like July, you're in a really healthy place to begin this inward journey. And ultimately it looks like August, and we'll be reading for you again in August, but ultimately it looks like August is a really profound month of transformation. As I said that, as I'm recording, it's 4 minutes and 44 seconds, which is a angel number if you like. Quite often we see the Judgment card bearing the symbol of angel wings. but it's a numeric sequence of protection. So as you're experiencing this kind of quantum leap, if you will, just know that you are protected along the way. I'm wearing this little, I've got a couple of angel wings here on my top, on my logo here as well. So just putting it out there. The colors of this reading to me, like I have such strong Capricorn energy. Queen of Pentacles, the Devil, and the Four of Pentacles equal the sign of Capricorn. You've got the minor, the major, and the court card representing Capricorn. So even the colors of this reading to me are very earthy, kind of golden and brown and like burnt oranges and things like that. It's almost like an autumnal palette. And I guess in autumn, at least on the northern hemisphere, let's say, you're kind of like starting to see what your harvest is, right? You're starting to see what you have and what is going to be sustaining you through the hibernation period of the winter. Capricorn is really associated with the kind of gatherer, the accumulator, the builder. So at the moment in your life, Aquarius, it seems like you might be building for the future in a bigger way, or harvesting or collecting or gathering the nuts and the berries, so to speak. And it really looks like you've got a very, you know, you're budgeting really well. Finances seem to be very much on your wavelength at the moment, and it looks like, you know, you're getting a helpful hand here with finances. There's a lot of growth taking place. There's opportunity. I mean, an Ace of Pentacles in the reading is one of the greatest cards to see for financial opportunity at the moment for you. Okay, I'm going to just pare it back a little bit and start going card by card. That was just kind of like what I was getting an overview feeling for, but there's just so much going on here. In fact, like 4 major of the major arcana cards showing up in this reading. And if this reading resonates, by the way, I will be pulling a further 10 cards in an extended version, and I will link that in the description box, and you can follow the link and find that down below. But maybe this is all you're sticking around for today, so let's just start with that. Queen of Pentacles. Right here, right now, this is you. You might be an Aquarius with a lot of Capricorn in your chart, or perhaps you're just here embodying this sort of period of health, well-being, you know, financially you're thriving and you are feeling really proud of yourself. You're feeling really capable, and other people are kind of noticing that, and maybe they've always known this, but you may be being called upon as somebody to be relied upon. You're very dependable at the moment. You get shit done, you get things handled, and you really are able to take care of yourself and others. But this is about taking care of yourself at the moment, and you seeing the value and the merit of truly taking care of yourself and what that kind of does for you. Well, it is a financial being comfortably financially is a wonderful springboard into kind of the hermit energy, into kind of like more spiritual pursuits. And when you have that kind of like lower chakra energy pool swirling, maybe it's the root, maybe it's the sacral, from there you are in a comfortable enough position to think about what lights you up creatively, or where you want to sort of like explore or act on in the kind of solar plexus kind of area, and like what you want to bring light to in your life now, what passions are lighting you up. When you're worried about finances or feeling scarcity, then perhaps it's just not as easy to think about goals and passions and what lights you up. It's just, there might be more pressing matters at that point to attend to. But for now, this is a period, it seems, where you see the value of taking care of yourself so well, because now you can really see where you're going and where you're growing spiritually in a huge way. Like I'm talking about obviously being in a great place financially in terms of building a home for yourself, building a business, building your future in the material world. And we have, you know, this kind of four of Pentacles really illustrating that the bricks are being laid. You're spending this one here, but you're conserving down here. You're plotting, you're planning, being very wise and budget oriented here with these cards. You know, you're balancing the scales and seeing what you have left over and what you have to spend, how many nuts and berries and whatnot. But at the same time, like, that's all happening right now on a very conscious level for you. But what the next steps of your journey, and they're pretty soon actually, it like seems like by the end of this month, if not the beginning of August, you're very much on this trajectory that is profoundly spiritual, because the Hermit card, as you know, it's associated with the inward journey towards the mountaintop, you know, going metaphoric mountain, of course, but maybe you are going mountain climbing, rock climbing. Maybe there is something to do with scaling. Some of you might scale high buildings. You might be washing your windows. You might be doing something, and I advise you to be very safe and of course take caution if you are, you know, cleaning roof or kind of scaffolding of any sort. But I do see climbing heights at the moment, hiking, and just the determination and the kind of stamina and endurance it takes to climb mountains or heights and stuff like that. And we've so many mountains. I mean, every card almost has a mountain in it, for goodness sake, but or a peak of some sort. So you're getting to the peak on something. So that can happen in a metaphoric way as well, where we just take on challenges and we know that like it will require strength and determination and hard work and effort to get to the top of the mountain, if you will. And that could be just a kind of more symbolic undertaking that's happening at the moment. The Hermit card is on top of the mountain and they're solo there. This is a very like, it's like a journey only you can take that's coming up, and it's going to be profoundly enlightening. Then the Hanged Man, also very solitary here. And the reason this Hanged Man is strung up and suspended in time and space, and sometimes this can feel like a little bit limbo, and it's in your environment. And so you might feel like at this time you're kind of just in a limbo phase, or, you know, you're neither beginning nor finishing anything. You're more in a planning and preparation phase, and kind of sort of seeing what you've got and seeing, and kind of what's it like, hedging your bets sort of energy, or just kind of like taking it slow and being mindful, cautious, frugal, conservative. Yes, maybe it's not like this truly like gamble, risk take energy that's coming up here, not super adventurous. But eventually there is going to be a turning point here, and it will represent a change in your environment. Basically, it seems like towards August, something about the environment as you know it, and whether that's what you see when you walk out your front door, or what's the environment like on campus, or in your circle of friends, or in your work dynamic, like what is the environment around you. And it doesn't necessarily just have to be like the the geography of your environment. Like, what are people saying? Like, what's the zeitgeist? Like, what is the buzz around? That seems like it's going to be changing for whatever reason, or you'll be tapping into a subtext of what people are saying, or what your family are doing, or what your group of friends are all about. You're going to be seeing something on another dimension, honestly. With the Hanged Man, can be really out there when it comes beside the Hermit card. And then there's like this wake-up call of the century happening in August, or this period of profound transformation and change for you, where it's not even like there's just an event that marks change, like a move or a graduation or something like that. It's just this like light bulb shift switch kind of situation that it actually happens from within. There's the light, and you're shining a light on something, and it's like you're able to now face fears that were before seemed like this mountain, metaphoric perhaps, was insurmountable. You couldn't get past this. Pluto station retrograde in your sign is inviting you to go on a deep inward journey. And because I believe you've already started that, and you've already been in the death throe of the cycle where you were experiencing loss of ego, loss of sense of self, losing our marbles at time, right? Am I right? But you were in this kind of like unraveling, and now you're in this rebuilding, and that's all the building and the structure and the thriving and all of the rest. There is going to be a light shone on this experience, on the death cycle, in the next few weeks, and you're really taking stock. You might be somebody who takes stock, you know, that's part of your job, counting stock. You might be doing something with stocks in the stock market, and counting and hedging bets and just sort of like, I feel like you're accumulating, but you're allocating, and it's very cautious kind of work, and it's careful, and maybe in this kind of more meditative, sort of methodical sort of way of being or working at the moment, Aquarius, you are able to have this sort of like, you know, sometimes I'm just like washing the dishes and I look out and I'm like, ooh, like this little download just creeps in and I'm like, holy shit, my mind is blown in such a mundane action. But during that mundane, like my nervous system is very chilled probably, and I'm just able to interpret like messages. They just kind of, I'm not blocking because I'm not worrying about stuff. That's what I feel like. It's during some kind of period of meditation, like quite literally you could be meditating on a mountain this month somewhere. And if you find yourself on a high peak or something like that, try and take a moment to meditate. That might be very helpful. But the Hanged Man here is like the environment, like something about it, your shift, and you can see something from an entirely new perspective. That's it. The Hanged Man at its essence, after that huge rigmarole digression, is just about an entirely different perspective. So something about this next few weeks will offer you that. But it hasn't all been easy, the Devil card and the Five of Cups, because, you know, the fear of loss is still here. And it's human, right? We do fear loss. We can fear loss of self, loss of reputation, loss of a family member, loss of a parent, a child. That can be really, really a profound experience. A profound kind of, because it's more of a fear. Yeah, it's just kind of like an energy that can block us in a sense. In the subconscious, and we'll get into this more in the extended, of course, but in the subconscious, the Devil card is here, and it's the one thing that seems to be currently holding you back. But it seems purposeful that it's here for you to address this fear, and the holding back, the Hanged Man, the suspension, and the kind of like limbo. It's until you see a new perspective. I think you have to address a loss at the moment, and I think you're in the place to do that, and I think you know you're going to do it. And I think that's what Pluto's retrograde in Aquarius is bringing you towards. So think back, let me think of some dates around this time. Right. Pluto is now at 1 degree of Aquarius, heading towards 0 degree of Aquarius. Back in February, March and April of this year, Pluto was in the same position, 0 and 1 degree. And it's moved towards 2 degrees, and now it moves very slowly, thank God. It's moving back now towards that point that you were at on a soul level of evolutionary consciousness back in March, April of this year. So it usually, but not always, will mark a period of regeneration from that point. Typically, we're in a state of sort of spiralic evolution, but there are obviously, like, sometimes we're taking 10 steps back. I get that. But for the most part, I think it could be fair to say that you could be dealing with themes at the moment that you would have been afraid to address or look at, or thought you were unable to handle back in March and April. Or maybe you were handling them, but now you're a dab hand at it. Now it doesn't seem as daunting. So you're going to be revisiting how far you've come from the March-April point of this year. But there's been a loss since then. There's been a loss of something, a loss of routine, a loss of support, community, a grief. There's been something that now you're able to look at, and now you're able to properly examine. And that's the Hermit card, looking at that Five of Cups. And the reason you're able to do that, of course, is because you're in this healthy mind, body and soul kind of vibe. Okay, and you're divinely protected, of course. The Devil card in the subconscious, that is kind of tricky to me, because you might say on surface, like, I'm fine, I'm chill with this, I get it, and I'm ready to look into it and dive deep with it. The Devil card says that this actually impacted a little bit more on a subconscious level that you might be even aware of now. It's like kind of so where we have cracks in our armor, that's where the Devil energy will find vulnerabilities, essentially, insecurities, weaknesses, where we might be prone to compulsion, addiction, the shadow of all this Capricorn energy, workaholism, avoidance. And where there are chinks in your armor, it feels like this is a point where, of course, that's the cracks are where the light gets into, but it's also where the Devil card has this sort of ability to play mind games, or the devil is basically an energy of something holding power over you. Whereas, let's say we saw the magician, that's the energy of being the manifester. You are the person in control. The judgment card has an element, I suppose, of the realization that comes with that feeling, or realizing you've been powerless, or you've been giving your power away to something, a substance, a job, a relationship, a illusion. And the crack is where the devil gets in, but that's also where the light gets in. And I suppose that's shadow work, isn't it? Like shining a light on these places. Very Pluto retrograde and Aquarius material here, you guys, okay? Some of the mutable signs are dealing a lot with Saturn's influence, which just seems clunky, blocky, hard. Pluto, it's intense more than hard, okay? So this is intense work, but it's also extremely rewarding. Recently, trips, excursions, plans, expanse and opportunity have been driving you to look after yourself so well, and amazing opportunities are coming through for you at the moment, in work, in play, in travel, in what's next, and new streams of income are opening up for you, new ways to make money, new paths to travel, new ways to align the work you do with just making you yourself this kind of like resource that merges with society, that provides a service to society, something useful, and you just feel that sense of purpose that comes with that. And there's an opportunity to do that more and more at the moment. Budgeting seems to be really important for whatever reason. You're balancing your books, you're seeing what you have, you're stockpiling, you're saving, some of you are quite literally sitting down, pen on paper, what's going out, what's coming in, like a household budget. I remember those from my junior cert in school. And then in August, you're gearing up to something that you would have been afraid to do before. Some of you are being like, maybe just a touch, like this is not financial advice, but I do see a touch of like a little bit too much worry around spending on something. If something is going to enhance your life and it feels like it's in alignment for your path, just think of it as an energy exchange. And it seems to me that you're really in the flow of energy at the moment, where like things are coming back around to you quickly. Like you might notice that if you spend money on a gift, you're getting something back in return pretty quickly. You're working with probably some pretty rewarding karma at the moment is what I can see. The Judgment card is a deeply karmic card, and Pluto, of course, in evolutionary astrology, the branch that I work with, it's the soul itself. So you are definitely doing a regeneration of some of your karmic work here, whatever you came on, what contract you came here with, the Six of Pentacles. I mean, that looks very karmic to me as well. It is. It's about paying debts. It's about working through contracts and clearing. You're doing a lot of clearing at the moment, and as you do that, it seems like you get rewarded. Now, the energy, because of the colors of the fall and the Capricorn energy, I wouldn't say it's light and breezy right now, Aquarius. It seems like there is density to the energy around you, but as the month continues to move through, or we move through July rather, sorry about that word salad, and we head towards August, there is certainly an inward journey and a potential for some sort of a spiritual awakening, further enlightenment, and maybe you're just not worrying or caring as much anymore. But you're in a great place. I suppose you just haven't really fully integrated the devil yet, and you probably are still, that's kind of the hermit looking at this Five of Cups here to see how they're going to process that, and we'll get into that in the extended. But if this is all you're sticking around for, thank you so much for watching. It was a pleasure to read for your sign, and I'd love if you would subscribe or share or comment or like. Bye now.